friends, welcome to another sew along video. Today we are going to be sewing up the Rocky top from Simple Life Pattern Company. I love this top. It's so cute and perfect, and I love color blocking, so I'm really excited to get this one going. In this video I am doing the simple color block version. If you are looking for the other color block version, I have a video for that I will link here at the top. But I just really wanted to do the V's because I know those can be kind of tricky sometimes. So let's make sure we have all our pieces cut out. You are going to need a color block top and front and back, and then you're going to need the simple color block bottom. I am using this super cute fabric from Fraulein S. I absolutely love it. It's so cute. And I'm making this in French terry too, but you can do it in a bunch of different kinds of fabrics. You're going to need two sleeves, sleeve tops, and then you're going to need two simple color block sleeve versions or bottoms, and then you'll need a neckband. So once you have all those pieces cut out, now it's time to prep our pieces. And I am going to prep my front and my back bodice pieces first. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a pair of snips and you are going to cut just a little snip in there. You're going to want to do it the same amount of the seam allowance. So a 3/8 inch snip. If you want to do a 1/4 inch, you can totally do that too. But this is going to help get it so that you can get those really crisp V's. If you want, you can also go through and stay stitch. So just stitch a little V starting from 1 inch on either side, and that'll help the fabric not stretch. I don't do this, it's just an extra step. It does make it a really nice V, I just don't always do it. But what you're going to want to do now is take one of your sleeve bottoms and lay it right side up, and take a sleeve top and put it right sides together with your sleeve bottom. And you are going to take the point of your sleeve top and you are going to match it up with that little snip that you just made in the sleeve V. And then the other side of the sleeve, you're going to match up with the corner of the sleeve piece. So it's going to be, you're only sewing half the sleeve right now. You're sewing one side of your V. And we're going to go ahead and sew that using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So how you're going to sew this is you're going to start at one end and you're going to go all the way to your snip. And when you get to the snip where you snipped, you're going to fold that fabric out of the way. I'm using my serger, but you can totally use a regular machine if you want. You do get a better V with that. But here you can see, so we sewed half of our sleeve and now we need to sew the other half. So take that other corner and match it up with the other corner of your bottom sleeve piece, right sides together again. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to start on that side and sew towards the V, or towards the snip, the point there. And when we get to the point, we're going to just sew straight. So we're going to fold the other fabric out of the way and just fold down all the way to where our other stitches ended. And that's going to give us a nice V. So using a 3/8 inch seam allowance, we're just going to sew all the way down there. All right, so here's our front with our nice V there. It'll look nicer once we iron it and get it pressed and everything, but there you can see. Again, I did it with my serger, but if you want a really nice crisp V, definitely do with your regular sewing machine using a zigzag stitch or a stretch stitch. But now that we did that to the front bodice piece, we're going to do it to our back bodice piece. So again, you're going to lay your back bodice piece right side up, your bottom, and then you're going to take the top back bodice piece and lay it right sides together, matching up the corner of the sleeve and then the tip, so the point of your sleeve to the little snip you did there. And then again, we're just going to sew 3/8 inch seam allowance, and when we get to the snip where we cut, we're going to fold that fabric out of the way so that we can just go ahead and sew. If you're serging, you're just going to go sew all the way straight down. Okay, so we have one part of our back bodice piece attached. Now we need to just attach the other side. So go ahead and take the corner of your top back bodice piece and lay it right sides together with matching up the corner of your back bodice piece there. And then pin or clip along the raw edges And what we're going to do is we are going to start sewing at the side and sew in towards our V. And then when we get to where we clipped, you're just going to manipulate that fabric out of the way so that you can serge right off. If you're using your regular sewing machine with a stretch stitch or a zigzag stitch, you can do the V all at one time, but it's still kind of nice to keep it separate so that you can really get really down into that corner, into the tip of your V there. So our back bodice piece is now all put together as well. So we've got a front and back all put together with a nice crisp V. Now we're going to do the same thing with our sleeves. So just like with our front and back, we are going to take snips and we're going to just snip in the very center of our V, 3/8 inches. So that's the seam allowance. You can do 1/4 inch if you want. If you do 3/8 inch, you'll be able to get right to the edge. If you do, I tend to do slightly smaller so that I don't accidentally have a little space after I sew it, so I don't like miss it or anything like that. All right, so you're going to take one sleeve bottom and lay it right sides up, and then match one corner of your V for your sleeve to the corner of the V for the bottom sleeve, right sides together, and then the tip is going to go right into that snip. So right where you have the snip is where your tip of that sleeve is going to be at. And go ahead and we're going to sew 3/8 inch starting from the side going in towards our V, and when we get to the snip, we're just going to manipulate that fabric out of the way. Okay, so one side's attached. Now we just need to attach the other side. So again, take the corner of the top sleeve piece and match it right sides together with the corner of the bottom sleeve piece, the opposite corner there, making sure that everything, the raw edges are lined up. And what you're going to do is you're going to start from the side and sew in towards your V using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. In towards your snip there of your V. And then when you get to the snip, you're just going to fold that fabric out of the way so that you can just sew a nice straight line all the way across and not get the other side of the sleeve. Okay, so one sleeve down with a nice crisp V in there. Again, it'll look a bit better once we press it, but all that's left is to prep this last sleeve. So we already put our snip in there. If you want to, again, you can do that stay stitch to prevent it from stretching, where you just start just a base stitch an inch on, you start it on an inch from one side, go down towards your V, and then go up another inch. And that'll just help it not spread and stretch while you're sewing. But then once that's done, if you did that, you're going to take your sleeve bottom and lay it right side up, and then the sleeve top, put it right sides together, matching up one side, and then getting your tip right into that little snip that you made. And then starting from the side, going in towards the middle, we're going to sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, so we just need to add this other side in, sew it on, attach it, and then we will have our pieces all prepped and be ready to start constructing our rocky top. So again, take the unsewn side and the corner and match it up there with the corner of the unsewn side of the sleeve bottom, right sides together, getting going all the way into that V and then, or the snip, so that we get a nice crisp point. And then starting from the side, we're going to sew in towards our snip using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, so now that all of our pieces are prepped with nice V's, we are going to go ahead and take them over to an iron and press the seam allowances down towards the bottoms of the color block pieces. And then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch. So again, I'm showing that I press them down towards the bottom, and then I'm going to top stitch that seam down. I'm using a cover stitch machine, but if you don't have one, you can totally use a twin needle or just a regular sewing machine too, and you can either just do zigzags or stretch stitch there, or you can go ahead and do, like, if you want to do one line and then another line, you can do that too. But when I get to the V though, what I do is I stop with my needle in the down position, and then I turn my fabric 90 degrees so that it's kind of moving the other way so that I get a nice crisp V in there. It's kind of hard to do with a cover stitch machine because the cover stitch likes to do curves more than points. So it's easier if you're on a regular sewing machine. You can get a nice crisp point in there, but I do like the look of the cover stitch too. So okay, so if you are top stitching, just go ahead and finish all your pieces, and then we will move on to the next step. Alright, so all of our pieces are now prepped and put together and top stitched, and we're ready to start construction. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take the back bodice piece and our front bodice piece. Lay your back bodice piece right sides up, and then put your front bodice piece right sides together on top of, so right sides together on top of your back bodice piece, and line up those shoulder seams. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and line up those shoulders, the raw edges there, pin or clip. I'm going to do both sides because it seems silly to just do one side and then come back and do another. But go ahead and pin and clip, and then what you're going to do is you are going to sew along those shoulder seams with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. All right, and now that our bodice is attached at the shoulder, it's time to attach the sleeves. So we're going to open it up and lay it right sides up. Grab one of your sleeve pieces, fold it in half to find the middle of your sleeve. I like to just kind of put a little pin or clip there so that I can be reminded. And you're going to match that middle point up now with your shoulder seam. And then you're going to take the corners of your sleeve and match them up with the corners of your bodice pieces. So once you have that, you're going to go ahead and pin and clip all the way around, and then we're going to sew on the sleeve curve using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. So make sure that those raw edges are nice and up against each other so that you don't accidentally miss any of them, especially with knit fabrics. It can tend to move on you, so get a couple extra pins or clips in there if you feel like you need them. And then, yeah, we're going to just go ahead and sew all the way around that curve there. All right, so one sleeve is now attached. It's time to attach the second one. Go ahead and open your bodice back up, laying it right sides up. Then again, you're going to take your other sleeve piece and you are going to fold it in half and put a little pin or clip there so you can remember where that halfway point is. And then you're going to match that halfway point up with the shoulder seams, making sure that your sleeve is right sides together then with your bodice. And then go ahead and take the corner of your sleeve and match it up with the corner of your bodice, and then the other corner of your sleeve with the other corner of your bodice there of your arm sky. I think I said that right. And then pin or clip around so that you have all the raw edges are right nice and next to each other so you don't miss them when you're sewing. And then you're just going to sew around this sleeve curve, again using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. All right, now that both sleeves are attached, it's time to sew along the side seams and close our shirt up. So you are going to take the top the front of your bodice and lay it right sides together with the back of your bodice. And then match up the arm sky seams that you just sewed and the bottom of the sleeve and the bottom of your bodice pieces, the bottom corner of the sleeve and the bottom corner of your bodice pieces. And just pin or clip along those raw edges there, making sure they're nice and lined up. And then we're going to sew along from the bottom of the sleeve up towards the arm sky down towards the bottom of the bodice. When you get to the armpit area, you're just going to kind of manipulate your fabric so that it's nice and straight instead of curved. So I just like to kind of manipulate it here. You'll be able to see here in just a second. I just like to kind of bring it towards my machine a little bit, the left side of my machine, just so that it straightens it out a little bit. Okay, so we've got that all sewn together now. Now we're just going to do the same thing to the other side. So match up the bottom corner of your sleeve. Right, make sure everything's right sides together. Match up the arm sky, the seam there that you created when you attached the sleeve to the bodice, and then match up the bottom of your bodice, the bottom corner there, and then pin or clip along as much as you feel you need. And just sew along there, again using a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and again when you get to that area you're just going to kind of manipulate your fabric to get a nice straight line. Great, so our shirt is constructed. All that's left to do is add our neckband and hem it. So go ahead and flip your shirt right sides out. And then what I like to do is, you could see, look at how awesome that lines up. I love this pattern so much. It's so awesome. Okay, so we now need to quarter our neckline so that we can get a nice straight, a nice neckband on there. So what I like to do is fold my fabric, my neck opening in half, lining up those shoulder seams. And then, so the point then at the fold on either end is going to be the first and second quarter points. And then I'm going to line those first and second quarter points up. And then the fold on either end of that is going to be my third and fourth. Now you'll notice here that your shoulder seam is not your quarter point. That is super important. When I first started sewing, I assumed that my shoulder seam was my quarter point and my neck bands were all wonky and I couldn't, it was so frustrating until finally I figured out like, oh, you actually have to quarter it and not just assume. So definitely take the extra time and quarter it properly. So now that we've got it quartered, we're going to take our neckband piece and just fold it in half, right sides together. And then what I like to do is fold it in half again. So this way, though, you're folding it in half along the short end. And then what we're going to do is just sew using 3/8 inch seam allowance, just sew it there. So you have it's looped, and then you've got the short ends now are folded in half again. Okay, so now that our neckband is all prepped, we now need to quarter our neckband like we quartered our neck opening. That way we can match those quarter points and get nice consistent stretching throughout the neckband so it's not wonky. So I like to use the seam that I created when I sewed my neckband together as my first quarter point. And then I take that and put that, kind of fold it so that that is at the bottom, and then the direct opposite side of that now is my second quarter point. And then I match those two quarter points up together, and the either end now of that fold is my third and fourth quarter points. All right, now once everything's quartered, what we need to do is we need to match those quarter points up with each other. So the seam that I created when I made my neckband, I use that as my back point. That way it's hidden and it's not super noticeable. So you're just going to match that up with the quarter point on your back bodice piece, and then go ahead and match the other points as you go around, making sure you don't twist your neckband or do anything crazy, because sometimes they will like to kind of fold or twist. So just make sure those quarter points are nice and lined up, and your raw edges are, are nice and lined up as well, and not doing anything too wonky. And then when you go and sew, what you're going to do now with your neckband is you are going to stretch the neckband as you sew, but not the bodice. So what I like to do then is I like to kind of hold the neckband and stretch that, and just let the bodice feed through my machine like normal. So. Okay, so construction is all finished with our Rocky top. All that's left is to just do those finishing touches. I am going to top stitch my neckband, but also what we need to do is we need to hem the sleeves and the bottom bodice. So fold the opening of your sleeves up towards the wrong side of your fabric, 1 inch, and then the same with the bottom of your bodice, the bottom opening there. Just fold it up 1 inch. And it helps if you press it just so that it doesn't try and come undone on you or anything like that. And then once you do that, you're just going to top stitch around your neckband if you want. That's not a must. And then just sew those hems down. Here is our finished Rocky top. I love this sweater. It is so cute and so fun, and I just love it. If you are wanting to use this all season though, I do have a hack video on how to turn any pattern with short sleeves. So go ahead and check that out, and thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.